Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for taking a moment in your afternoons to join us here. Um, we appreciate you stopping by for the webinar. We'll give another moment or so before we kick off, just to let a few more people jump in. But thank you so much. We're glad to see you. So, as a few more people join, I'll just take a moment. Thank you and welcome to Lead Retrieval 101 webinar. I'm Karen Murphy, the Director of Customer Experience here with Event Crowd, and I'm going to be your host today, and we'll cover a few things. Um, let's go ahead and review our agenda. So we're going to touch on a quick overview about Event Crowd, go ahead and jump into the QuickLeads suite of tools. We'll spend some time just reviewing rep assignment and also the Leads Hub. And we'll discuss a little bit about the buyers list this time, and some of our system updates. And last but not least, we'll wrap up with Q&A, just to go over any questions that might come up and make sure everybody has a chance to ask any questions that come along. Please feel free to go ahead and use the chat to drop questions as they come up. You don't have to save them for the end. Just go ahead and drop in. We might answer some as we go and then wrap up with any last questions. So again, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Let's go ahead and move along. So our team here at Event Crowd has quite a bit of experience in the event technology and customer service industry. Our focus really is here to help bring easy to use technology for the market, for High Point Market, so that you as exhibitors can focus on interacting with your customers and not to have to worry about capturing all that data, just for you to really have an ease of use. And so we focus on listening to your feedback as well. So we really encourage you to share your feedback with us, any things that you have as your wish list, anything that we can improve upon. We always welcome and encourage you to share with us those ideas so that we can help grow and really just improve the experience for all exhibitors at market. It's a very unique event, and we really want to strive to bring the best tools to the event for you. So we'll go ahead and kick off with our suite of tools with the QuickLeads app. QuickLeads is what we refer to our lead retrieval tools. The QuickLeads app being our uh, mobile app that can be used on any type of device, either a phone or a tablet. Works on both iOS or Android. So really any tool that you have it in your hands. We do offer quite a few different packages. So if you have a team, with several people that are going to be working at market in your showroom, you can go ahead and purchase a package, and then that way anybody at any area can capture the data from the buyer's badge with just a really quick click of a button, using the phone's camera. We designed this to work in offline mode first. That's one of our key features with this. We know that sometimes in certain buildings or certain showrooms, cell signal might drop at any point, or even internet or Wi-Fi might drop a little bit here and there. It's not always an issue, but we want to make sure you have peace of mind that if that were to happen, you're going to be able to keep capturing data. And then as soon as your Wi-Fi kicks in again, it will sync and everything syncs back in real time as long as that cell service is working or internet service is working. Those leads will sync back to the Leads Hub so that you can go ahead and see that movement of your data at any moment, at any time. Um, we also did offer some data enhancements that we've worked on and continue to work on. Actually, this is something that we are constantly keeping an eye on to ensure that the devices have the quickest response, that the app is working as seamlessly and as streamlined as possible, so that you guys can, again, focus on your conversations and your interactions with those buyers rather than worrying about the technology. So the QuickLeads app, like I mentioned, has quite a few little tools that help capture that data for you. You'll notice you have features such as adding notes. This is a great thing to utilize if you want to add some key discussion details. You know, if you've had a great conversation and you don't want to have to kind of go back and hope you remember, you know, after 4 or 5 days of market, this is a really good way to kind of hop in, type in those notes, tie it to that buyer that you spoke to, and then you can go ahead and pull it up for later references. Another benefit of the QuickLeads app tool is unlimited qualifiers. These are something that I think a lot of people enjoy using because it's a really great quick tag that you can highlight those key customers when you're working with them. You can scan their badge. As soon as it pops up, you can go ahead and click over to qualifiers, and it almost works as like a little spotlight. So when you later pull reports, you can actually pull a report that is just on that specific qualifier. So you can say, okay, these are those key customers we wanted to contact in reference to, maybe it's a product line or maybe it's a further discussion that you might have. But really think of them as a way for you to tag those customers as you're working with them very, very quickly. The other piece that works in the QuickLeads app is unlimited surveys. Surveys are something that is an interesting tool. It may sometimes be a little challenging, but we do encourage you to dive into it a little bit. It's a way for you to actually gather your own demographics. So, you know, obviously, as those buyers fill out the registration, they're going to have a certain amount of data they enter that is passed through to you when you scan their badge. However, you could create your own demographics. So it could be the list of product lines you might offer or the list of even just products alone that you might offer. It could be the certain salespeople that you want to maybe refer them to, or any really, you can think of any type of question that you might want to quickly respond to. It can be open answer, could be multiple choice, or could be single, like yes, no, true, false kind of answer. So really let your mind kind of jump into any type of thought that you might have of what else could we add to the interaction with that customer as we scan them. Sometimes it doesn't work if you're in a hurry, but if you have a moment after you've interacted, you can really quickly toggle over and identify those leads a little bit deeper by using these tools a little further. And so I just want to highlight that a little bit. So let's go ahead and move over into QuickLeads Web. So our QuickLeads Web is a tool that uses a browser window. It goes onto a desktop or a laptop. It's really an excellent choice for the showrooms that have a main entrance or a main desk that maybe already even has an existing computer. Uses a USB barcode scanner attached to that device to go ahead and scan the QR code. We recommend a couple of types of Zebra scanners that are really very reliable. They maintain a really good connection. And this gives you in a quick one screen view those same features of the QuickLeads app, but on one clear screen. So you can toggle over, identify qualifiers, jump in, add survey responses, or add notes as easily as a quick click of a button as you're discussing with them. We do also recommend this for those showrooms, those companies that are using rep assignment. QuickLeads Web offers us the ability to add a few features that are excellent for managing rep assignments and assigning reps or assigning territories right at the click of a button. You can go ahead and see um, visually right at the bottom of the screen as you scan a buyer's badge, you can see who the territory has been assigned to. You can go ahead and manipulate that if you wanted to and auto assign it, or you could select the rep that you wanted to assign it to. And you can actually see the interaction with the QuickLeads web and the rep assignment app to see that they've been notified, they received that notification in real time. So it does offer you a little bit more flexibility, like I mentioned, for those showrooms that are using rep assignment. And we will talk a little bit more about rep assignment, but this is a really great feature to kind of think about if you have that setup that you might want to explore QuickLeads Web with your team. We do, of course, recommend that your device have the at least enough RAM to support the web tool efficiently, so 8 gigs of RAM. And as it mentioned, Mac or Windows 10 or 11 versions just to get you kind of into that frame where you have enough power with your computer. The one thing I do want to touch on as well, we do recommend these Zebra devices as your USB barcode scanner. There are other types of devices on the market for USB barcode scanning that I just want to kind of give some advice on that. We've done a lot of testing on our side and with our team to kind of see which devices work best and are reliable. So there's a lot of lower cost devices that are on the market, knockoff devices, if you want to call it, or some other um, phrase, but just be a little bit wary. Sometimes with these devices, their Bluetooth connection isn't always reliable. It will sometimes drop off in the middle of using the tool, and then you have to go ahead and stop and reconnect, repair the device, which can really slow you down. We want to make sure we understand that you have high demands of being efficient in your showroom and working through scanning efficiently. So just be aware that that sometimes is something to be cautious of to make sure that device is tested properly. And certainly you can reach out if you are using one that might be slightly different, and we can give you our feedback on our testing of that device and let you know our results. And the other thing to kind of let you know as well, if you don't have a device for scanning, that's okay as well. We have rental USB barcode scanners available. So if you're not ready to invest on your own, we can also rent you one as well. So let's go ahead and move into QuickLeads Web, from QuickLeads Web into QuickLeads Rental. So this is another option of our QuickLeads suite of tools. And this actually uses a Honeywell Android device to scan those badges, still utilizes the power of our QuickLeads app on that specific device. But this is a little unique. It actually has a built-in optical scanner, so it's able to capture that QR code a little bit more rapidly than just a phone camera. So it does actually give some really interesting benefits for certain showrooms. We find this works well especially if there's a showroom that has a very high volume of visitors. Maybe you're doing a lot of functions where your traffic is quite quick during that time, or you've got to move them in quite quickly. You might want to think about opting for the QuickLeads rental just to help expedite getting those guests into your showroom a little bit quicker. It does also help if there are any challenges with glare. So, if you have a really bright sunny spot where the sun can kind of sometimes play on getting the phone in the right angle or an iPad in the right angle, that kind of thing. This is a really amazing option for that because it cuts out that challenge altogether. It also is really rugged construction. It's the type of scanners that you'll see people use in warehouses and things like that, and a long battery life. So, you don't have to stop midday and charge it. You're going to go ahead and be able to get through a really busy day at market of scanning without any challenges there. Um, it still will work for your team in offline mode. Again, we help you pair it into your Wi-Fi. But again, if that were to drop or get a little busy, you can still go ahead and keep capturing in offline mode. And then as soon as that signal's restored, it's going to push back to the Leads Hub and sync all those scans right back right away. So the rental is an interesting option, especially for those showrooms that might have a little bit higher demands or a little bit of busier times. So something to think about as it can be uh, really helpful. The other thing that's nice is too that we will go ahead, we set it up for you. We have it all ready to go. So you just have to pick it up. We give you a little walkthrough and you're ready to rock and roll. So that is our suite of tools. So we have those three different options, QuickLeads App, QuickLeads Web, and QuickLeads Rental. So, they all work very similarly and have similar functionalities, but give you a couple different ways to look about which one might benefit your team the best. So, if you're ever stuck that you're not sure which one and you're weighing the options, feel free to give us a call as well if you wanted to walk through and kind of talk over your situation and see what might benefit you. We are definitely happy to help. So let's go ahead and move along. We're going to jump into rep assignments. So I touched a little bit on this with QuickLeads Web just because it does interact so well with that tool. Now, it still works if you're using the app, it's still going to function nice and smoothly. If you're using the rental device, it also works amazingly with that. But the way this tool is designed is to help connect the scanning of the buyer badge with notifications sent to your reps. So it helps you kind of work out being a middleman because you build out your territories in advance and ensure that your reps are notified when a buyer enters that matches those territories. The territories are based on defining a geographical area. So it can be broken down into whether by country, by state, or even county or zip code. And of course, also city could be thrown in there. So you can kind of expand deeper, and go drill down deeper for territories for some areas. And you might keep other areas higher level and stay at the country level. But it really helps you customize, if somebody's covering an entire state, but they might handle a city in another state or support a city for another state, you can mix and match and kind of build out your territory to ensure when that buyer arrives, you're capturing them and notifying that rep right away. The notification to the rep we'll touch on in a second, but it is in real time. So as you scan with the QuickLeads app or with the QuickLeads rental, it's going to immediately send a push notification to that rep. With the QuickLeads web, you do have that moment where you can go ahead and work with it if you wanted to notify a specific rep or change and adapt. Maybe that person's out and you need to sub another person in. You can do that with the QuickLeads web version at the touch of a button. We have two different ways of building out these territories, and it might seem a little bit daunting, but we tried to make it pretty seamless. So you have either our territory builder, which allows you to kind of go step by step and you name the territory, you work on the areas. So you define, like, if we're staying at country level, if we're drilling down into state level, and you basically go ahead and start typing and adding those individual areas. You move over to adding your reps, and then you just make sure you save that configuration. And you could have multiple reps assigned to a territory. So it could be several people covering Texas. You might only have one person covering Minnesota. You basically can play around with the way you want to create and build those territories. You can do the same thing with an upload tool. So if you had a spreadsheet where you have your reps, you can just basically expand and use our template to use that Excel sheet and break it down into the same outline. So just lining out who your reps are, what territory they're covering, what's the territory name, and we have a guide that breaks all those pieces down. But really, depending on what works for your team, there's some really easy tools to help you get your reps added in and your territories created and your reps assigned correctly. We also have a lot of communication feedback within rep assignment to let you know if there's an error maybe that happened. So if you forgot and you didn't assign a rep, you built a territory and then forgot to assign a reps, there will be a little warning, kind of lets you know, hey, this territory doesn't have any reps. So you'll have little pop-ups that will come up and give you feedback to let you know, hey, I missed a step, or I got to go back in and change that. And another great feature with the rep assignment is that you very easily can manage changing out your reps. So if somebody came in to assist someone, you can easily duplicate a rep and kind of get that new person in very quickly. So works excellent for those situations. Uh, One other point that I always like to touch on as well is rep assignment works. We've had great feedback from multi-line reps. So they're able to manage several lines within our rep notification app. So it's something to think about. If you have a lot of multi-line reps, they may already be using the tool. And so it could be a very easy thing for you to jump in and, add in rep assignment to your team and to your showroom so that they can be notified a little bit quicker and kind of get over and help those clients out a little more efficiently. Let's jump over and look at the, sorry, we'll jump over and look at the rep assignment app. So this is just a little highlight of what your reps will see. We don't use text messages. We don't use SMS messages. And I know that had been used in the past, but I do want to kind of touch on the fact that there's been a lot of changes. There's a lot of control over SMS messaging and a lot of restrictions on SMS messaging. So as we built out these notification tools, we wanted to make sure that you weren't having to worry about texts getting blocked or notifications getting blocked. We wanted to find a way to keep your reps connected without risking those kind of control issues that were coming up with SMS. So the app was designed in a way to be easily functional for your team. And we've added some features to help them log in more easily, make sure that they can get up and running really quickly. We have a little guide that helps them. So you can pass that along as you're getting set up so that they can very quickly download the app, use their activation information, and get rolling right away. So they get push notifications. We added a custom sound. Now, some people are probably like, why would you want your phone to make a sound? But some people like it. So there's a custom sound if they want to be notified. They will have persistent notifications. So it will stay that they're notified until they go ahead. They can dismiss it when they're ready, but it will kind of keep them notified constantly of those buyers coming in and being scanned. As I mentioned before, they can be linked to multiple territories, but also multiple exhibiting companies. So if they are one of those multi-line reps, they can manage and very quickly pivot through the app to their other lines, and they're notified, okay, you have a buyer's arrived at ABC showroom, and they can quickly look at those details and get over to help their customer more efficiently. So it's a really excellent tool. We also have the ability on their side, on your rep side, they can see those notes that you've added. They can see their customers' demographics as well. So they can get a little highlight more than a text message allows them to. They can actually get more details. So, if your team at the front is, letting them know that a customer arrived and they have a red dress on or a blue hat on, they can go ahead and toggle through and see those notes. So when they arrive, they're ready to greet that buyer right away. So it's a really excellent communication tool and notification tool for your team. The one really nice perk is there are unlimited notifications, unlimited territories, and unlimited reps. So if your rep team expands, you're not restricted by a certain number. You can go ahead and update and change. And then also from market to market, we move your whole territory build over for you. So you don't have to recreate things. You just go ahead and start up with prepping for market with just reviewing, making sure there's no changes, and you are ready to go. So we try to kind of help you in any way we can so that it's an easy, smooth, seamless transition with rep assignments. So you can tell I really am excited about what we were able to develop for this team. And I think for those of you that have used it, you could probably say it's quite a dynamic tool. So we're really proud of it on our side. All right, let's go ahead. We'll move from rep assignment and talk a little bit about the Leads Hub. So um, I've mentioned this a couple of times in talking about syncing. So your leads, your scans are seamlessly synced back to the Leads Hub. The Leads Hub is your home base. This is where you placed your order initially. This is where you set up your custom qualifiers. You set up your surveys. You set up your reps. Everything is managed out of our Leads Hub. This is your dynamic dashboard where you're going to be able to go ahead and pull those reports. I mentioned this briefly about those qualifiers, but automatic lists are built out for you. If you have multiple devices, each device will automatically have a list built for whatever is scanned from that device. So if you had a whole team that's using their phone to scan, you would be able to see, okay, Brian's phone, here's the leads he scans. Susan's phone, here's the leads that she scans. So that's really helpful. It also will have automatic lists created for qualifiers that are used. You'll have reports on any of those survey questions that might have been used. So those things are already, you don't have to go in and pull them and try to like manipulate the system. They're already there for you. We also have some really great built-in demographic reports. So we added some leads per day data for you to go ahead and see, leads per hour as well. So you can see how your showroom traffic is fluctuating throughout the day. And you can also, same thing, you can see your traffic in your showroom over the whole entire, week and a half or 2 weeks, whenever market starts for you. Obviously, it's a little bit different for everybody, but you're able to go ahead and pull based on what dates. If your showroom opens early in the week, you can change your dates to cover the dates that your showroom is open and pull that data the way you want to see it. And these reports can be accessed at any time. So if you are sitting able to be in the back office and you want to kind of go and have a little quick peek at the screen to see what your team is up to and see how the traffic is going, you can jump into the Leads Hub and see the highlights of what is happening on the floor at any time. So it's really helpful. And like I said, this is also where you manage your rep territories, you manage your reps. So you'll be in there, especially if you use rep assignment, you'll be in there off and on to make sure to see if you need to make a change to a territory or add something new. That's all where it's held for you. So it's um, it's the hub. It's where everything is. So um, that's really everything I want to touch on for Leads Hub. Um, and then last but not least, let's touch on the buyer list. So the advance and post-market buyer list is something that is included with all QuickLeads lead retrieval purchases at no extra charge. So if you purchase even just one of the QuickLeads app um, for a phone, you also receive this advance and post-market buyer list. It is available on its own independently for those that aren't interested in using lead retrieval. However, I would, encourage you to kind of think about the cost effectiveness of it because uh, you would be able to actually scan and gather data with your device during the market and also receive this buyer list at no extra charge. The advanced list comes out 1 month prior to market. It's released 1 month prior, and the post list comes out 1 month after market. So those are kind of the release timelines. There's an email that will be sent letting you know that it's available for you to go ahead and download. Uh, and the buyer list includes demographics that are included during registration that are company, mailing address, the main contact and phone number, also their business type, their sales volume, their price point, and their primary and secondary product categories. So it gives you really that robust amount of details for you to prep. And have your team prep for market. So it's a really amazing benefit that comes with lead retrieval here at High Point Market. Um, the one thing I will mention is that email addresses are not included on this list. This is something that only can be attained when you're scanning that badge in real time with a lead retrieval device. So the list will give you those key features. I know in speaking with some showrooms, they were, sending out mailers to some of their companies that they saw on the buyer list in advance to kind of, you know, reach out to some of their clients and let them know we're excited to see you at market. But there's a lot of different ways that you can use these tools, and I do want to kind of make sure to point out that this is the only buyer list that is a true buyer list. This, I know if you've been in the trade show industry or the live event industry, I'm sure you're already receiving random stranger emails about offering lists. That is not something that is real. So I would kind of give you a little highlight that this is really the only buyer list that is available and comes directly from the High Point Market Authority. So, but as I said, this buyer list comes with your lead retrieval purchase at no extra charge. So it's a great little add-on tool that will give you some ways to prep and see who of your clients are coming, who you maybe want to highlight to reach out to and prep. So just a little information on that. I know we get a lot of questions about this as well. So um, let's go ahead and we'll touch on our system updates. So as many of you are aware, we are constantly listening to your feedback throughout market, before market, and after market. We encourage all types of feedback, whether it's something that you have on a wish list that you hope that the system could do. We want to know. So one thing we've had is before, in advance of market, we had a QA team join us, and they have really spent a ton of time focusing on the functionality of the Leads Hub and our range of tools, and really making sure that there is smooth interactions with all of these tools, making sure they're able to deep dive and test like I've never seen testing done before. So it's really been amazing. They identified a lot of little things that would just make it easier for you to pull reports, inconsistencies where, things maybe were lined up in a funky way, and it makes more sense so that you can pull a report more easily, or you don't have to scroll across, and um, find buttons and things like that. So we really spent a lot of time having that team work through all of our tools and really get it into a way that makes it easier for you and your team to work with our system. We also upgraded our reports and data so that it had better visibility of what was happening during market. So we took some recommendations, added some reports, and also added the way that we were displaying our reports so that was easier for you and your team to see what's happening rather than having to pull out that data and drill down on your own. We also changed the sorting capabilities so that you could go in and update or manipulate that data a little bit on your own. Again, I mentioned the dates of market, being able to change your start date, your end date, and kind of, move it a little bit more fluidly. You might want to see how far in advance, when your team is already maybe greeting buyers in the early days, even when other people are still setting up, you can go ahead and change those dates to what works for you. And then last but not least, we also spent a lot of time, again, on the rep assignment, export tools, rep management processes, so that updating your reps list and updating that team, and also pulling the data for the team, was done in a more functional way. We knew that people wanted to make sure as soon as those leads were coming in, we're able to go ahead and get them out to those reps as easily as possible. We added some tools around that as well, and some enhancements so that it's a little bit more streamlined process for you to get the lists and data to your reps so they can start working with their customers right away. So lots of fun, exciting things, and lots more to come. As I mentioned, we are always accepting feedback and listen to your feedback, and we encourage you to let us know what you want to see with the system, because we would love to expand and grow with you. So let's go ahead. We'll jump into the last little section here with our Q&A. Thank you guys so much for listening to me go through everything. But let's go ahead and um, I'm just going to review some of these. I know we added a rep assignment. Okay, let's see. Okay, so there was a quick question about there's a quick question about, is it possible to include new leads manually in case they do not have a QR code to scan, or if their QR code does not work? So there is a way with QuickLeads Web for them to manually enter. We do have a badge ID on QuickLeads Web where you can go ahead and enter in that badge ID. So, if for some reason the QR code got damaged, that will go ahead and um, uh, add them in with QuickLeads Web. We do not have that ability with QuickLeads App or QuickLeads Rental because you need that QR code to uh, go ahead and capture. So we don't have a way for you to manually enter on that side. Um, what I would recommend, what I would advise is I know that there are areas in most of the buildings for them to go ahead and get their badge printed. So if for some reason, if they, didn't have it at that time, they should visit a registration area and go ahead and replace that damaged badge so that they're able to scan because they'll have the same issues if they're going into a building and that door scanner is trying to scan them upon entry. So, just to let you know. Uh, Let me just look at the next one. There's a question, will you send a recording of this webinar? Yes, we will. We're going to go ahead and send that out once it's available so that if you need to review at your leisure, you can. Um, the question, if we purchase QuickLeads Web, will the advanced post list then also include the email addresses? No. The email address is only something that can be accessed when you scan that badge, when they actually visit your showroom. So it's not something that's released because it's not their data to share unless they come into your showroom and you receive permission to scan their badge at that time. So, um, let's see. We have a question. Uh, okay. So there was a question last year. I didn't, when they were adding notes, I didn't realize you had to click save until day two. Oh no, and lost all my notes from day one. Do you still have to click save? So, yes, they do. You do need to click save. There's a green button there, for you to, click save. So, that is something that you want to be aware of. Um, and then here's another question. Can you explain again how we can send messages or emails to leads when using our personal phone that we link a professional email? Um, so if you're referring to messages or emails to leads, when you scan, if you are using the QuickLeads app, when you scan someone, you can take that email right away um, into your Outlook, from your device and go ahead and send them a message. Um, I'm not sure if that was what you were looking for, but yes, you can right when you scan that person, you'll have access to your you'll have access to that email and you could go ahead and send them an email right away. So yes, I hope I answered that to your to what you were hoping to get. Um, we have purchased and received our activation codes. Can we activate now? Yes, you can activate now. You don't have to wait closer. We do have test badges available. So if you did want to test, the one thing I always recommend is like if you're using rep assignment, let your reps know if you're testing because I think one of the badges is North Carolina. So if you're scanning, if they have that app on their phone, they're going to get notified. So you might want to give them a heads up. Our testing team, when they work, I have to like silence my notifications sometimes because I'm like, oh, somebody's testing. So, but yeah, we can do that. And then another question. Is there a how-to PDF we can share with our reps? Yes, there is on how to set up notifications. Yes, it does touch on multiple lines. The PDF, the guide for your reps for the rep app, because there's one for you to set up your territories and set up your reps, and we have another guide where your reps can actually use that. And we tried to make it as like user friendly as possible, step by step, like literally go to the store, download this app, not the wrong app, and once it's installed, make sure they enable notifications. So it really goes one by one on how to work through the app. So and feel free, our contact information is up on the screen. If you do work with your reps, don't hesitate to let them know they can reach out as well. We work with reps directly, if they have questions. We don't just, you don't have to hide us as well. If they want to reach out with a question about the app on their end, we're happy to help too. So, um, we have two showrooms across from each other. What happens if a badge is scanned twice? So there's a couple different things to keep in mind. You'd be using like a different device in each area. So it might be, showroom entrance A, showroom entrance B, whatever you designate as the name for that QuickLeads device will designate when that notifications pass through, where that came from. Also, when the badge is scanned, you'll know if it's been scanned multiple times. So it will track that, and basically you can kind of see the unique scans versus multiple scans. So it would show you that they came back again because I mean obviously buyers are coming back multiple times to showrooms, and with good reason, especially when they're looking at all the beautiful furniture. So it will track it, but you can also see that it can be filtered based on unique scan versus multiple scans. And again, as I mentioned, you'll have a name on that device. So, and you can be unique if it's an entrance name or a floor name or a person's name, whatever that might be. So, feel free to go ahead and make it as unique as possible, whatever makes it easier. So, I don't see any other questions. So, oh, one just popped up, but yeah, feel free to jump in if anything pops in. Let's see. Let's see. Now, if we don't have that ability the question is about, again, kind of referring back to if the lead comes by without their badge. We don't have that ability to scan without the badge. We can't pull their information or like enter their information without that badge. The only way we reference it, because it is their personal information, is by using that badge. So I know that can be a challenge, but really that's something, again, they're going to need that badge to enter in many of the main buildings. So it's going to be crucial um, that they go in and get that badge whenever they're ready. Um, yeah, I don't have a really like easy solution with that. You know, so they just will need to try to get that badge as soon as they can from one of those registration desks. Um, Oh, and then somebody said, I used a different lead retrieval platform at a different show, and the app couldn't link to my professional email, only personal. I don't know that to be an issue. Um, so I know that it will let you push over from that device. I mean, I think we'll probably have our team do a little bit of testing on our side, but um, we definitely I know you can just take that email address right from the app and go ahead and send them an email. And then a question, is the name of the app HPMKT Leads? Yes, it is. You'll also see if you start typing in HPMKT, you'll see reps pop up, you'll see leads pop up, but yes, leads is the right one. So you've got it. The question, um, we do have one more question about the badges, if like adding in the information. The only challenge with that, I mean, that's somewhat the same as entering, um, sorry, it's asking if we can, if you could just add the person into the system without their badge information. So we don't have that ability. With the Quick Leads web, you can write that, you can add it by that badge ID, but if they don't have their badge, like if they haven't gone to get their badge, you wouldn't even be able to do it in Quick Leads web. So, if they're going around market, they should have their badge. That's what they're going to need to be scanned. I know that can be, I do understand it can be a challenge for some people that, are coming in off of a bus from a plane and they maybe get distracted and start moving. But I know the team tries to keep those registration areas open early and available like right when they get off of transportation. So, really just try to encourage them to go and get that badge information as soon as possible, because that's the way we reference it. When we're pulling that data, we need that badge ID to even identify them. So, sorry, I don't have an easier answer for you. Thank you, everybody, with all your questions. We really appreciate it. There's one more that popped up. Um, there's a question about notifying like manager of a VIP customer that is being scanned. Is there a way to do that without adding them to rep assignment? So, you can do that. You can do it one of two ways. With QuickLeads Web, you could do it immediately. If you scan the person, you would be able to manually assign them to that manager. They would still need to have the rep assignment app downloaded, like be added as a rep, so that the notification can push to them. But you can also do that in the Leads Hub in the rep assignment area. You could go and look at your scan history that and send that. You can manually assign that lead, that buyer to that manager, but again, they'd have to be added as a rep. Even if you don't assign them to a territory, you'd have to make sure that they're in there and active. Um, what do you call a buyer list? Is a list of registered visitors. It is the registered buyers. Does it include designers and architects? Actually, I'm not
Yes,
sure about the architects. Sorry, go
yes, it
ahead,
does.
Mark. Okay, thank you. I was like, that's a little beyond my scope. I'm like, I know some of the terms, but thank you for jumping in. So, um, thank you guys. Great questions. And we really appreciate that. And like I said, our contact information is on the screen. Um, we are, I actually just heard my phone ringing as we were as we are talking. So the questions are coming and please keep them coming. I know you have a lot to go through and prep for market. So please don't hesitate to reach out if you do have questions. We are happy to help you along the way and happy to help you make a decision. So again, this recording will be available. We will send it out as soon as it is ready. And thank you again. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you.